I'm friends with the DJ, hosted by AJ the Superfox.
Welcome back to another episode of I'm Friends with the DJ. We are starting season 2 with a bang. And of course, joining me is a very familiar face. My brother from another mother, my dear close friend, Rudy. And he's here to kind of talk about his new alter ego, Dolfo. So please, Rudy, tell me a little bit about this chameleon experience and this change, and tell me about Dolfo.
Thank you so much. Well, first of all, congratulations on season 2.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for inviting me as your first episode.
Absolutely.
Really honored for this. Well, Dolfo has always been there. I feel like Dolfo is the foundation of Rue-D, because when I started DJing back in 2001, house music is what I fell in love with, and so when I became a DJ as Rue-D later, I didn't start off with house. It was more tribal, huaracha, hard, the
Right.
cha-cha and the drums. So I fell in love with that, and I always wanted to go back to the foundation, which is tech house music, and Dolfo just was there peeking, trying to come, trying to show itself. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do it because it's a harsh transition from what I play to
Absolutely.
Dolfo. So I didn't want to confuse people, first of all. If they see my name, they think it's going to be hard, tribal, and it's
Right.
not. It's more tech house. So, and that's how Dolfo came about. Came to be.
And, I think that, I was very surprised when I first heard of surprised in essence, because I think that I've known your music to be very forward and very, like I said, I've called you a chameleon several times. And, I think that it was bound to happen. And it's such a great sound. And I actually was listening to your Eagle promo on the way over here. And, I always got little teasers that were still very Rue-D in essence with your Eat the Bass sounds that you would do on SoundCloud. Check it out and listen. How were you able to transition or bring Dolfo forward?
The love that I have especially for tech house and house music in general. I thought about it, starting off with some, like you mentioned, Eat the Bass is some of the volumes that I have in SoundCloud with Rudy, and it was very tech housey, very techno. And that was my first take and see how people reacted to it. And a lot of people fell in love with them. And so that gave me a little push to be like, you know what, I can do this. I can do a harsh transition to Dolfo, and I wanted to explain a little bit about the name as well, because a lot of people ask me, what does Dolfo mean? I said, well, my name is Rodolfo. My real name is Rodolfo. So when I was a kid, everybody would call me Rudy, and that's
Right.
where Rue-D came in. RUE/D, and so how can I tie in the same name? That's still me. Well, it's Rodolfo. I just took off the RO in the beginning and just kept Dolfo. So that's how there's still me, even though it's a different name, a different sound, it's still me.
And such a great sound, it's great to have that circuit hard bass guaracha, which I fucking love. You know what I mean? I can't get enough.
Love it?
Exactly.
A lot of people don't, but it's okay.
Who are they? You know what I mean? But I with this sound, I think it's opened up a lot more new listeners.
Yes.
Who aren't, they like dance music, but they're not about that, like,
the harsh,
they call it pots and pans. And I'm
pots
like,
and
I don't
pans,
hear pots and pans. What the fuck are you talking about?
It is pots and pans, and I play them loud and pride, with pride, because that's what I love. I love the hard, the pots, the pans, the bells, the cowbells, everything. And it makes people dance. It makes people happy. And that's all it's all about. What I love doing is to make people dance and have a good time. and that music is fun, and
Absolutely.
it's not for everyone. Same thing, tech house is not for everyone,
Right.
Same thing, house is not for everyone.
Right.
Everybody has a taste of music.
But I think with tech house, disco house, which
Yeah.
is
I
really
love
really
disco.
fun. Really, I love that vocal that you bring in, but I really really love that you are expanding your fan base, and with that, how tell me how you got to be one of Sundown Social's play what is it called, creators or
Artists, yeah.
artists. How did you become connected with Sundown Social? Because I remember constantly talking to the boys and telling them all about you, and they were kind of oh, that's not our sound. That's not Sundown. It's more house. And I sent them all your Eat the Bass SoundClouds, and I was like, Roger Isaac, you have to listen to this. You have to check him out. He's a chameleon. He's not just circuit and that hard drums that you're so scared of. There's so much more. How did that introduction meet? Tell me about that?
Well, I kept going to Sundown because obviously you would invite us there, and I get to meet the boys and everything. And one Sunday, Roger asked me, like, "Do you play tech house or any?" Yeah, I said, "Of course I do." And I have several podcasts on my SoundCloud that are that sound, and so I said, "I'll send them over to you and check them out." So he did, and he actually invited me to be part of the artist lineup, and that's where I said, you know what? I think that's where Dolfo came about, with him. And I said, Dolfo is new, and you're going to be the first one that's going to feature Dolfo. So we were excited about that. Very, very excited. So.
Listen, if there's anything that Roger loves, he loves being the first, the initiator of it, and so I'm sure as soon as he heard you say that, he was like, ding ding ding, like,
yep.
Yes, I got it. And so tell me about a couple of your experiences with Sundown Social that you've got. Tell me about the energy you feel. Tell me about the different vibes, because it's so different.
It's so different, yeah. But the main thing about it is having a good time and loving it and people enjoying it. It's all about the music, and I think anywhere you go, if you love music, you're going to have a good time. So Sundown Social is amazing, has been great to me, and I love doing it. It's a way to like have a good time and relax and not have so much pressure, and it's enjoyable, it's fun, it's daytime, it's great,
We love a daytime dance.
We all do, yeah.
We love that, because then we end early and get to go to sleep early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and aside from Sundown, where else has Dolfo been able to play at?
Well, I have a residency now every second Friday of the month at the Eagle here in San Antonio, and that's also has gotten a great turnout, a great feedback with the owners, and that's hot and heavy on every second Friday of the month. And recently, I just got asked to DJ in Houston with a brand called Evolution as Dolfo. So That's the first time I've done that, because I am part of the residency of Evolution as Rue-D, which is after hours. But he's like, I want to hear Dolfo now.
Amazing.
So that's my first time going out of San Antonio as Dolfo.
When is that? When is your Houston Dolfo debut?
June 21st, I believe.
Perfect. Everyone, June 21st is where we want to be in Houston. Do you know where the venue? Or?
I don't have the details on that yet, but yeah.
Hush, everyone.
It'll be fun.
He's going to keep secrets for now. But that's amazing. I just, I'm just always in awe by your talent and your artistry on your creations that you get to make. And and what I love most, and I'm going to say it again, is how you're expanding your fan base and introducing people to get to know you.
Yeah.
Not just Rue-D or Dolfo, but Rudy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're a from the outside, if they don't know you, a very quiet, introspective person that's just taking everything in and doing everything. But then when you're behind the decks and doing it all, you come to life. And tell me a little bit about that.
It's just an amazing feeling to be behind the decks. If you got to be up there, at least once and experience it, because it's an amazing experience. I love it. Just seeing people, you work hard to put on these sets together. You etiquette the music, put it all together, for the night or the evening or the party or whatever, and you project that energy to them as so you play that music. And so you see it, in them, how they feel the music, how they're dancing and everything. And it's all about, the vibe that you create for that party.
Exactly.
Anybody can be a DJ, but not anybody can curate to the people that are dancing.
Right.
So that's something that it takes time to learn and to understand and to read what us DJs say, read the crowd. You got to read the crowd and see how the crowd is reacting to what you're playing. Just because you love this song, you might love it, but they might not. It might not be the perfect song for that party or that moment or that minute that you're playing it. And so you got to switch it up and find out how people are reacting to what you're playing. Yeah. And keep that vibe going, and keep that energy going and keep them engaged, because that's what is important.
So, I know that, and when I last interviewed you, introducing, it was episode 1, season 1. One of your inspirations for Rue-D was, your mother. And so with aside from, her and, that hard music, tell me a little bit about your inspiration and your idols for your house side.
Dolfo.
Yeah.
Well, it's still the same, because my mother, Nina Flowers, she has the alter ego George Flores, which is Afro House,
and that's new too.
And that is new. And,
yes.
And same thing with Eric Ibiza. He has Mr. Strings, which he produces a lot of tech house underground, and it's amazing, And so I'm very fortunate to have them in my life, as inspiration too. So when Dolfo came out, they were very supportive too as well, and so it's still the same, it's still us, but it's a different side of us that, we're able to, show the world and show the people. Right. A lot of DJs can be like, why do I have to change my name? But that's fine. That was you, because you evolved your sound with years of experience, Right. I am harsh separating it right now, it's like I said, I don't want people to see Rudy and show up and be like, what is this? Why is he playing this? Exactly. So Dolfo's this, Rudy is that.
Yeah. And, I think it's a big part of evolution. Like you said, it's a big part of music and you as a person, you as an artist, just constantly shaping and moving forward and evolving. So, I love that you have the two separate personas. And that's how it should be, because at the end of the day, you're still very passionate about Rudy's sound, and now you're just touching something else, because like you said, it's always been there. Yeah. But now you wanted to bring it to the forefront. It's about time.
It's about time.
that Dolfo's, but he's like, I've been here this whole time.
He's been there the whole time. I'm here, and with Dolfo, I get to explore a lot of different genres, and as far as house music, tech house, Afro house, house music, disco house, techno, and so I get to explore a little bit of each one, at some of my performances at the Eagle, and see how people react to it, and see what really resonates with me too as well, and so my next project is a little bit of Afro, so I'm meddling into that too, and I'm actually loving it a lot.
I love it.
So because Afro house has a lot of drums as well, it's got that.
But without that harshness
of it, it's more chill, but you can still feel the drums in Afro. So,
well, I can't wait.
Yeah,
that's gonna be so exciting. I want to go back to, Sundown and the Eagle. And as you said, you're going to be going to Houston. Where else do you want to see Dolfo go?
It's I can't say, anywhere where it takes me, because, life is all about, the unexpected. I wasn't expecting to be a part of Sundown Social or part of the Eagle. When it first opened, I wasn't even thinking about that, but there I am, and things just happen naturally, and then they evolve,
And for a reason.
and for a reason,
And for a reason.
So,
It was going to happen because that was in your cards and in the stars, And to touch base on that, because we always like to touch on with the stars and how it aligns and everything happens for a reason. Do you feel that the stars aligned at this time for Dolfo to come? And
yeah, everything, in your heart when something is right, and when you feel it and you're like, okay, now it's time, and you just do it, and it might take some time, to people get used to it, and follow it, but a lot of people are reacting to it, and as long as you get a reaction, you get momentum going, and you just got to keep going.
that's exciting. I just, I've one of your biggest fans, obviously,
No, you're not.
I'm my own biggest fan. But no, I can't stop just behind your back saying how proud and how, talented you are. And
Thank you.
I'm so glad that after bitching and telling Roger and Isaac, like, listen, I promise you it's going to be great. And, you've played several times now with Sundown Social. And, Roger and Isaac with Sundown Social and now Sunrise Social are really bringing more, they're bringing more attention to house and the sound to San Antonio. And just the way you did, with Bear House and the circuit and it was always, San Antonio is always missing something. It feels like.
Yeah.
And, with the house sound being more prevalent because, the gays are only this big and it's only gays that love circuit or whatever. Your fan base expanding in the straight world with Sundown Social and all of that. Tell me about some of the other DJs that you've met through Sundown and have you gotten any takeaways from that?
I've met a few DJs that I connected with. Miss Disco Therapy, she's great.
Love
I always
her.
quick little chat before she goes on, or she was the first one I met, and so I have a connection with her in that sense. Juliet Starr too.
Yes.
She's amazing. She actually convinced me to buy a controller that I never thought,
Okay.
And so I bought it, because she's like, it's great, you should get this one at this website and blah blah blah. So I ended up getting it. So yeah, I mean, I'm slowly starting to have connections with them too as well. And so yeah, everyone's really great, so far.
And that's one thing that I think music in a whole, no matter the genre, just brings people together.
Yeah, exactly.
And that definitely, it's the harmony, it's the love, it's the appreciation that the artists have for each other, and again, the people who just love dancing to it that are also appreciative of what you guys bring. And I couldn't be happier to, and I'm going to say it, I connected you and Roger and Isaac with Sundown Social. So
Thank you.
No, of course. No, you're welcome. But, I'm just so, ecstatic of Dolfo and where he's going, and where do you see him going outside of Houston and wherever? Like where would you like to see Dolfo go?
Maybe I don't know, the same as Rue-D, where Rudy has been. I never thought Rudy would be in places like New York, LA, Miami, Chicago, and so hopefully Dolfo, there's a spot for Dolfo there too as well, so but it'll take time, like same thing with Rue-D, but if Rudy can do it, so can Dolfo.
That's fucking right. That is fucking right, because at the end of the day, there's still Rudy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think touching base on all of those things, and I love to just well, one, you could talk about yourself so much, and so can I. I last season when we first interviewed, I did my quick mix, but we already did that, and everyone already knows all those questions and everything. So I'd kind of like to change it a little bit different since you're here for a second round with me. I kind of want to do I'm friends with the DJ afters.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little different. It's a little dark. It's after everyone's asleep in bed and
It's only us
that are out. So tell me about tell me some of your crazy stories. Tell me something about that Rudy has experienced, being a DJ and going to all these events and going to these after hours and everything. Tell me something.
Oh my God, I don't know. You want some tea?
I do want some tea. I love some tea.
I don't spill tea, but I mean, I can tell you, I've been to many unexpected places that I've never thought I would be. Like high rise in New York one time, and at noon, that was the after hours. It was daytime outside with windows surrounding. All you can see is a big city around you. And a friend of mine was DJing in an apartment, high rise apartment, and I remember standing in there and thinking, like, how did I get here? I took the train there, and everything. But that was the first time I DJed in New York, and it was in after hours as well. So my gig started at, I believe, at 5 or 6 in the morning.
Holy crap.
And ended like at 9. And so the after continued later into the mid-noon-ish afternoon, whatever. And I didn't stop there. I went there, and then I went later to the Eagle, and so I didn't get home till like late at night. So,
dang.
Yeah, that was a crazy night.
Yeah.
It can be crazy because it was my first time, but after that, it's like I want to go home. I've been there, done that. I just want to go home.
Right. Yeah, I think that's more Rue-D's scene versus Dolfo's.
Oh yeah.
I actually it used to be 800 Live, and now it's Club Infinity.
Okay,
is what it's called now. It's the same bones, but it's pretty different. The crowd obviously is very different, and it was. I went. Roger had, I think, his post-birthday event there afters, and the streets are very different with their afters, but still very. You're right. I don't spill the tea, so I won't say anything. But I think there's afters for everyone and everything. A lot of the DJs that I met through Sundown Social, they do their afters as well. And while it might be a little bit different than
everybody loves an after.
Why not? Who wants to stop? I never want to stop. Let's just keep on going and going and going.
Keep going until your body says no, and then you're like, you know what? Let's go home.
Or
you start getting hungry,
and I just can't walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It doesn't matter what you are, if you're having a good time, keep having a good time, that's what it's all about, and the afters is there for you. If there's an after, go for it, never been to an after, go to one, check it out, experience it, I know Bear House throws really amazing afters.
That's right. And P.S., by the way, we're live on location at Bear House. So everyone who, if you know, it's one of those things. So, exactly. Shh, but tell me everything. is how that's going to go. I just want to. I'm so excited and look forward to what's becoming and your continuous evolution and Rudy being a chameleon and. I don't care if you have 100 alter egos. I'm gonna show up for every single one of them. Any last closing words for our listeners out there?
Just keep following your dream, and don't take no for an answer. Within you, because you can do anything you want to do. As long as you put your heart and your soul and everything to it, you can make it happen.
The truest words from my dearest friend, Rudy, Dolfo. Again, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll have another afters, and I'll get something out of you eventually. But listeners, thank you so much for joining me for episode 1 of season 2. This has been I'm Friends with the DJ. It's me, your host, AJ the Silver Fox, with again my dearest friend Dolfo. We'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.